The proven way to get rich. I remember when I was in college and I was looking for a job, my goal, I wrote it down, was to make $100,000 a year. I thought that $100,000 a year would give me everything that I wanted and that was considered rich. And then when I got my first job and I started working around people who were making $100,000 a year, I quickly realized that they're still in the middle class and they have a lot of struggles and they can still barely afford some payments. I said, dang it, these people aren't rich. And then the second job I took, I was working around people who were making $1 million, $2 million a year in highly specialized insurance sales. And I was like, they're making great money, but they still struggle with certain things. They can go on nice vacations, but they can't really do the things that the ultra rich really do. They can't really charter a jet. They can't really go on the really, really expensive vacation. They're okay, but I wouldn't consider them super rich. So I said, who are the people that are really rich? What do they do? And then I got a job at a law firm before I started my companies. And I was around the ultra rich. These people were making over $20, $30 million a year. The company I was working for had a private jet. I was riding around with one of the owners, going to talking to these clients in the private jet, flying in, having different conferences in the Caribbean and different things like that. And I got to be around these people who were making 20 to 30, 40 million a year. One guy was making over 100 million a year. And it opened up my eyes because I got exposed to the lifestyle of the rich, the people who own businesses. And I got to see one thing that changed my life is from meeting these people before. I thought the people that were making a ton of money were special, that they had some sort of God-given ability. Maybe their parents gave them money. Maybe they came from something. They went to a specialized school. My mindset was incorrect. When I really met these people, they were just like you and me. That one guy who was making $40 million a year started a business because he got fired and got into fights with everybody he worked for. And he said, dang, I'm going to start my own company. These people aren't smarter than you and me. They took a chance. They took a risk. They started a business. And it opened up my eyes and I said, wow, if this guy can go make $40 million and build a business, I feel like I can. I feel like I'm just as capable of all these other people. And it was because I was exposed to the ultra wealthy, the people who were making the most amount of money. So a lot of you, if you haven't been exposed to those people, a lot of times we put them up on a shelf like there's something special, unattainable. That's good for them. That's good for her. But I can't do that. That's not for me. That's impossible. That's out of reach. I can't get there. But what you don't understand is a lot of those people that I was exposed to were first generation, multi-millionaires. First generation, because they worked hard for it. And there's a saying that the second, third generation destroys it. And a lot of times that's true. So it was just interesting. And I started thinking, I'm like, okay, if these guys did it, how can I get rich? How can I become rich? And I remember one of the owners of the companies that I was working for invited me in a neighborhood. You can look up the neighborhood. It's called Wexford in Hilton Head Island. I named it after one of my companies. It's on Hilton Head Island. It costs $25,000 a year to live there. It's one of the most sought-after VIP neighborhoods on the island. Only the ultra-rich live there. Some owners of sports teams live there. Some celebrities have houses there that a lot of people don't know about. And I was touring it because the owner invited me over and said, hey, why don't you come over and see where I live? You'd find it so fascinating. I remember seeing the golf courses immaculate. Bushes were trimmed perfectly. The houses were massive, massive houses. And I remember just asking him, and I'm so glad I asked this. I said, how do you get to live in here? Like, how does somebody get to live in? How does all these people afford this? This is crazy. And he said, Nate, I'll tell you something right now. Only people who own or have owned a business can afford to live in this neighborhood. You can't get in this neighborhood unless you own something. You have to own something. When the houses are 10, 15, 20 million, you got to have some ownership. So this neighborhood's full of ex-executives, ownership, Fortune 500 company CEOs. That's what it's full of, people who had ownership. And I started thinking about it, and I said, yeah, the only way that I'm going to make over $1 million a year, or really to over 20, 30 million a year, is through owning a business, becoming a business owner. And that day it clicked to me. I said, dang it, I need to find a way out of this, being an employee, being constantly throttled down, because if I start making too much money, they could replace me for half the cost. I'm not getting access to deals. I'm over here facilitating whatever my job was at the time. And that after my 30 years of service, there's a handshake, and hopefully you saved for retirement. You don't get any equity. You don't get anything. That's an employee. You don't become rich as an employee. You don't. The business owner becomes rich. You see, the companies that I have now, as I grow those companies, my net worth has doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and gone way up to where I'm getting to the point where I can see how I can be those people that I met with, how I can achieve that. That person on the shelf that we put up there that we think is unattainable, I'm starting to see that is attainable because I believe that I could do it. And I didn't become that until I realized that I had to step out, take a risk, and start a business. That I'm not going to become rich unless I step out and find the avenue to become rich. You see, a lot of people want to be rich, but their current actions don't match up to their perceived potential. If you want to make 20 million a year, are the actions that you're doing or the steps that you're taking right now going to lead you to make 20 million a year? And if you're at a job and you don't have any plans of starting a business and you're not working every night and trying to figure out what you're going to do, then that dream, that's craziness. You have to have actions that match your goals. And I'm telling you also to stretch your goals, to realize that anything's attainable. That the guy who failed second grade, the guy who had no ever a GPA over 3.5, I came from where I am to where I am now, not because I'm some super smart guy. It's because I took action and I had a realization that I need to get out of the avenue that I'm in and go to another street that's going to lead me to the wealth that I want to become. So for you today, maybe this is an awakening call for you today to say, hey, it's time for me to step out and get on the right path for me to become what I want to become. For me to have the riches and have the vacation. I used to be told when I was little that the rich are just like you and me. They have everything we have, and a lot of times they're miserable. And that was the most wrong thing I've ever heard, because when I got around rich people, I realized that their life is a lot easier. That they have a lot more freedom because they're not stuck doing things. They're able to sit and actually have a better fortitude on life because they can afford to sit and ponder. That the rich people are able to relax and have the greatest things in our world. That's what I wanted, and that's what you should want. You should want to live to your potential. And if you're not living to your potential and you want to become rich, then you have to own a business. You have to become a business owner. Okay? So become a business owner today. And I have a book that I wrote. Everything that I've learned from meeting with those people, from the interactions that I've had, from my own experience of bringing in over millions of dollars a year, those experiences that I'm on the track to where I'm going to become, what I've learned so far for you to get on to the level that I am, I've written in this book, Your Next Business, How to Find a Business and Scale a Business to over $1 million a year. This book is only $5. $5 for your next business, your next opportunity. Your $1 million business idea. You have an idea out there right now that can present over $1 million a year to you that you can potentially sell and build massive amounts of wealth, change your family, change the dynamic of your future, create generational wealth for your family, but you do not have it. We are only a result of the opportunities that are ahead of us. If I gave you a great opportunity, you can put forth the action and find that business idea. This is an opportunity. This book will present you the game plan and the mapping to find your business idea, an actual opportunity in your community that will lead to riches if you take the action for $5. Very inexpensive. I had to sell it for something at cost for $5. This small investment could put you in $1 million business idea. $1 million business idea. Even if you shoot less than that, let's say you don't get $1 million. Let's say you get 10%. Okay, well, Nate, you said I was gonna have $1 million business idea. Let's say you get 10%, $100,000. You think a $5 investment to a $100,000 business idea was worth it? Even if you only get a $10,000 business idea and you made a $5 investment to make $10,000, that's better than Bitcoin. If you made a $5 investment and you made $10, you doubled your money. So in this book, I tell you, if you follow the mapping that I've laid out, that I've learned, I've put so much effort into this book. For $5, I have a link in the bio below. You can download this book and get onto your journey to start making money. You need to be rich in our world. If you want to enjoy life and have that contentfulness of following what your potential is, you need to start a business. The only way, proven way, to become very, very rich is through owning an asset, which is a business that grows, that can produce you revenue and income to your family and business, and you can help out your community. As always, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.